Yo, yo, all you beautiful lounge lizards. What's crack-a-lackin'? Nick, how you doing today?
I am just happy to be here.
Freaking fantastic. Mr. Hound.
Yes, sir. It is a beautiful day in freight today. Happy to have you here, Nick. Welcome to the lounge.
Yeah.
Welcome everybody watching or soon to watch.
That's what I'm saying. And Hunter, all I want to do is repeat your shirt. Cheers, my friend.
Well, hey,
I don't even know my name.
Get in here with my energy drink.
What are you drinking?
I got a rainbow sherbet rain.
Dude, those things are good, man. I like the orange sherbet ones.
Yeah. Or the creamsicle one.
Yeah, the creamsicles. Ooh, I'll put those down.
Yeah. Anyway, you know what else is off the damn chain? Is Lane Runner rate platform. That's what. Hey, we're trying to get away from those three-letter monsters. Every bit of business we do, whether it's those three-letter brokers or those three-letter rate machines.
Welcome to the future of trucking with Lane Runner. Up to the minute, trustworthy spot market freight rates. Experience real-time, full truckload spot market rates at your fingertips. Stay ahead with our advanced rate alert system, ensuring you never miss a market move. Gain insights with our detailed high and low paying lane reports. Make informed decisions with comprehensive market reports tailored for your business needs. Lane Runner, accurate, real-time spot market freight rates at your fingertips. Efficiency, reliability, and profitability all in one platform. Join Lane Runner today and take your logistics to the next level. Spot market, spot on.
You know, they talk about all that extra profitability that you're going to be making, and with all those additional invoices, it's going to be flowing into your email box. You're going to need a place to send them so you can collect on those dollar bills, y'all. And who better to send it to except over to Shoreline Capital. All righty, Spidey. Now down to the nitty gritty. Nick, what happened in your day? What happened in your week, man? How's things going so far in the new year?
You know, I'm going to say that we are starting the new year off with a bang. Absolutely. And it just so happened that bang took place under the tile in my kitchen in the form of a pipe bursting. Man, I woke up yesterday to do my workout to 1.5 inches, 2 inches of standing water in my living room. And I'm like, oh man, because I knew where it was coming from because it happened before. So they're coming by tomorrow again with a big jackhammer. And so I'm glad we're recording this today because it's going to be loud around here tomorrow.
Tell them this time, say, hey, I want that triple wall PVC. Don't give me that single wall crap.
It's from the same spot they were in, but it's like a different pipe. And I'm like, man, why didn't we just light a match when we had the chance?
Oh, Hunter, man, how's your day been, bro? How's your week been?
It's been good. Things are finally starting to thaw out, no pun intended. Carriers are getting back, prices or rates are getting back to normal somewhat, catching some double brokers red-handed. So Bannon, if you're watching, I expect to see the one I sent you today. But all in all, man, it's been groovy, nice and rainy here.
Is it, man? It was rainy a little bit here today. It's been rainy here all week. So, but I don't know. I love it. You know, I love the rain. It just sucks. It's not like 3 months from now when I'm trying to have my grass come back and I need this damn rain.
Yeah, that right.
I'm serious. That's the only thing that aggravates me, man. Yeah, is that all that's going on with you, bro?
You know, I've actually so you know, I left logistics back in late October, and the very next day said, all right, I'm going to pursue my career here as a motivational speaker, which is something I was planning on doing for a while, just wasn't planning on doing it yet. And so November and December, I love being a new sales rep that time of year because you ain't got nothing to do but prospect. And so I just been grinding. And now as people are coming back to work and responding and starting to put things on the calendar, develop their budgets, I've never been so busy, and it's an awesome feeling to have. So when the right things come in the way, you know, there's a certain freedom in being totally fucked where you really don't have a lot of options. And so I don't have time to flip out over the thing in the kitchen, call a plumber. He does that. I continue to focus on the main thing.
Yeah. I'm with you, man. I'm with I'm with both you actually. Hunter, I like how you said the thaw out thing, man. I'm in that same position, brother. I finally got this load to Wyoming move, man. And it's kind of embarrassing to say, but I knew it was going to be a pain, man. But dude, finally got that done. Got the guy at what I consider a decent rate. I did my post today on LinkedIn, man. I've locked 3 customers down in the last 2 days from referrals. Well, 2 of them are referrals. One of them was a cold call. I just freaking called the guy, and he actually remembered me because of the subject line in my email, which was kolaches, tacos, and logistics. That was my subject line, dude. Kolaches, tacos, logistics. And he loved it. So yeah, man, I'm coming out of that, dude. I mean, finding new business in any realm, if you're a salesperson, it's pretty damn difficult. Like you said, November, December, I would say possibly even October, everybody's trying to close out the year and stuff, man. You know what I mean? And with that, the rates and the capacity gets tighter. So yeah, man, it is. Things are starting to get a lot better, dude. Hell yeah. We're going to move into our new segment, and then we are going to bring on Nick here and let him tell y'all his amazing story and talk about just really whatever the hell he wants to talk about. All right. I completely lied. I have no news story. All we're gonna do is just talk about Nick. But I'm kind of embarrassed here. You're gonna have to give me a minute to download your dang video. So talk about something so I can download his intro video and roll it.
FDR's new deal was neither new nor a deal. Discuss. Remember that coffee talk from Saturday Night Live?
I do.
Whenever I would be doing training, and this is like primarily back in my days at Blue Grace, and I needed to step out, take a call or whatever, that's what I would be like. All right, FDR's new deal was neither new nor a deal. Discuss amongst yourselves.
Oh my God. That's ridiculous, man.
Now, I will say, man, the lounge is pretty legit. That's actually your man cave back there, Hunter?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, it's my apartment, but yeah, my personal man cave, I guess.
Oh, that's what it looks like to me. So I like it.
Yeah, I appreciate it, dude. Yeah, I gotta work what you like. So
now, because I got the virtual screen, I got all my toys in here. This is my office, and I got all my Red Sox pictures. But over on the wall over there, I like Matchbox cars, and I really like the old Mopars and muscle cars. And so 10, 12 years ago, I just started buying them one at a time and kind of putting them on like my cork board or whatever in my office. But then all of a sudden I needed some more. I bought a case. And then I needed some more. I bought another case. And yeah, right. Which, by the way, my wife and I have been jonesing for tacos for days. So it's like somebody has to stop talking about them, or we're just going to have to scratch that itch.
Nothing wrong with tacos, man. You missed it by a day, though. Taco Tuesday. Go get your big old fat sack of them.
Bro,
there's no shortage.
We used to have this place here called Mission Taco. And it used to be in downtown, and I grew up downtown in the hood. And dude, back in the day, they used to have 5 tacos for 99 cents. And it was every day, all fucking long. Dude, let me tell you, bro, it's like a kid in the hood. Dude, every kid used to go to Mission Taco, $1.07 with tax. And you had 5 tacos, bro. That was lunch and a dinner, dude.
Yeah, that might be worth driving to from here.
They were so dang good, too. It was nuts. Like, man, they were absolutely freaking amazing. All right, so before we get into Nick, Claudia, what are you? I can't wait to get my office. Oh, well, you better hurry up before they become what's that thing?
Squatters.
Not horse. Squatters. You better hurry up and get them out before they become squatters, huh? Trevor Noah's taco. Yeah. All right. Now we are finally gonna get to Nick. Personally, I think this is the sickest intro video that I've ever made.
Yo, you want to see something cool? No? Well, I'm gonna do it anyway.
Step into the scene. No, nobody can do it like me. Zoop house plate with the kick cuisine. I was the black top king. 360s in my green machine. I was a kid and I was breaking down doors. Listening to Tribe, now we on a world tour. We gave them hell and now we gonna give them more. JVB, Mighty Morphin like Megazord. Yo, power like Ranger, range like Rover, strong bulldozer. Autobots roll out, hit the scene. Fresh wax on the paint, it's clean. Hold it, gang.
Dude, I love it. You did awesome.
Yeah. Whoever did that video for you, man, that is the joy. Hey, that song, I'm serious. I downloaded that song into my fucking playlist right after I heard that video, dude.
I'll be honest, that one just worked out well because I used to like to pick my own songs. If you look back, there's I basically make like music videos to the most eclectic music, and then with all the copyright stuff, you didn't really have as many selections. So that was actually one of the songs available to me on TikTok when I was putting it together. And I'm like, hell yeah, man. I'm getting into this.
Bro, that was sick. Funny enough, dude, I was like, man, dude, I've never heard that Beastie Boys song before.
Yeah.
I searched Beastie Boys freaking profile on Apple for like 10 minutes. And I was like, what the hell? And then I went back and looked at TikTok or your thing, and I was like, oh, it says the fucking artist right there. Oh, man. Anyway, Nick, thank you so much for joining us, man. I know you're a busy man, but dude, I saw you on Jared's podcast like last week or 2 weeks ago with Carrier Check, dude. And man, listen to you, I was like, holy shit, we gotta have this guy on the freaking show, man. So welcome, and the floor is yours, my friend.
Awesome. Well, I'm stoked to be here, man. And that was fun too. Like I loved seeing your comments come across, and I think it's just so much easier to chill, and just sort of be authentic in a sort of fun environment. And but really the video says it all. So I'm just gonna hang back, just press play, we'll watch it again. No. So I'm actually gonna start with that because recently, now that I'm off as a motivational speaker and coach, I don't really get these as much, but for the last 18, 19 years, I was in logistics. And as I would sort of learn these lessons that I've learned from my life, and I would put stuff out there to inspire and encourage others, there's a lot of stuff like that with me shirtless working out or whatever. And I would get some people who would give me negative comments, including calling me, we don't need to see this narcissistic crap. And I'm like, you know what though? The thing is this, it's not for that person. I don't know if anybody checked out the captions, but I want diabetics to see that. That's what that is for. It's not, I can make myself feel good all day. You know what I mean? I don't need that. I want the diabetics out there who think they can't live their life to know that they can literally do anything. They might have a harder road to get there, but whoever the fuck said it was supposed to be easy. So and that's just one part of my story. I am a 4-time cancer survivor. I'm obviously a type 1 diabetic. I have 7 herniated discs from 2 different car accidents, one of which I was in a rollover front to back and was ejected out the rear window about 30 yards.
Was that the semi-truck one?
Yeah, yep. That was fun. I was in college. I was driving an 87 Jeep Cherokee Laredo, and I'm on the merge lane. I'm starting to get on the highway, and the guy fell asleep, and he was traveling and came and hit me from behind. So he was going full speed. I was going like 40. I hit the guardrail. The reason I mentioned the year of the car is because all the seats just broke backwards on impact. The whole car like flattened out. And that actually was helpful because I lost control of the vehicle, went to the other side of oncoming traffic. And that's when I was like, oh shit. And I grabbed the wheel and I started to regain control, but it went back into the median strip, which was at an angle, and it was a Jeep. Well, that's when it started to dip front to back, and I just buried my head into my arms. You can't see it here, but there's a scar on this elbow that would have been my forehead, and it just launched me like 30 yards away from the car. And then I got up, and I'm like, where is that motherfucker? Like I started yelling because I couldn't tell. I was so disorientated. I didn't know what was north and south, and I didn't realize he was like sitting over on the side of the road. Like I thought he had left, and then a bunch of people ran over to me, and they're like, is everybody all right? Like they didn't even know I was in the car because I was so far away from it. But that's where those came from. I've been in a motorcycle accident. I almost died from meningitis. I had all 12. I had all 12 rounds of COVID. I had a nerve gas bomb threat on an airplane once when I was coming back from Europe. So yeah, I've been to a few things, but to me, that's not my story. That's just the origin story. Because in October of 2016, back when I was working at Blue Grace, my boss walks into my office on a Friday afternoon. Oh yeah, and I'm a recovering alcoholic. I don't know how I skipped that one, but and he says, "Hey, I want you to do a Spartan race with me." And I looked up at him and I'm thinking, no, hell no, fuck no. An 8 to 10 mile trail run with obstacles in the mud? What are you, out of your fucking mind? Like, no, I never wanted to be that uncomfortable. But that's when I went home and I just thought about it. I thought about all the things I had just said. I thought about everything that I had gone through in my life, and here I was 2 years sober. I was running my own sales channel. I was with a new girl that's my now wife. I had just beaten cancer decisively for the 4th time. I had everything going for me and something was missing. I was uncomfortable. I had this void. And so I took him up on that challenge. And that was 7 years, 97 Spartans, 6 major marathons, about 20 or 30 other races and endurance events later. And it was through that just experience that I began to realize all the bullshit that I'd been telling myself my entire life, all these things that I thought would hold me back from living the life that I wanted. I want to drive people to set meaningful goals and take purposeful action towards those goals. But that doesn't mean everybody has to change, right? Like, if you're happy in your life, good for you. You don't have to go mess it up. If at some point you feel you're stuck, well, give us a holler. We got jackets. We'll help you out.
All right, man. So if you're all right, brother, I thought of some questions that I wanted to ask you. I know you come on people's show and I know you say the same thing. So I tried to think of some stuff that I didn't see you answer on some of the other shows. So are you cool with me spitting out some questions? Usually we do freestyle stuff, but you're just one of those people, man. Like, you've been on so much stuff. I kind of want to hear some things that I haven't heard before.
Roll with it, man. I'm good.
All right, man. First one. How did each bout or round of cancer, your type 1 diabetes, or the accidents, the alcoholism, how have those affected your path? Like, how did all of that together, or maybe just singularly, help you get to the mindset on the journey you're on now?
I would say that every one of those steps helped me by hurting me. And what I mean by that is I didn't overcome any of my adversity until I started obstacle course racing. I had only survived it. I first got cancer in 2005, and I didn't see myself as a tough survivor. I saw myself as a victim. About a year and a half later, I tore my shoulder. I had surgery, and I had nerve damage from the surgery, which is why I started taking those 6 Vicodin a day. And I saw myself as a victim. I have sleep apnea, and at 26 years old, started sleeping with a CPAP and saw myself as a victim. I became diabetic and more victim. I got cancer again. And it's just this, why me? Why me? I just felt like the universe just kept pounding on me. And as much as I wanted to laugh it off, I just realized that it was just this victim mindset. As things continue to happen, that's at the same time that I really dove into the throes of my alcoholism. And I used all this stuff as an excuse to sort of behave badly. I wasn't good to people, and I was resentful, and I was aggressive, and all these things because I was just trying to show how tough I was and that none of this stuff hurt me, and I didn't like to talk about it. But what I hadn't realized is that I was just building this prison cell around me because I was such a victim, and it was poisoning my thoughts, and eventually it was poisoning my relationships. So by the time 2014 came around, 2013, I was just drunk and selfish the entire year. I don't know if I had a single good day. And so come 2013, I came to a bit of a halt where I realized I needed to stop drinking, but it wasn't for me. It was for other people, because again, I was a victim. I was so sick of other people talking shit that they had all these problems. So I was going to stop drinking. Excellent logic there. And as you can imagine, it worked like a charm. because over the next couple of months, I started sneaking drinks. I was edgy. I mean, I was the most miserable I think I could have been. And then the best thing happened to me is I got cancer again. And the reason I say the best thing happened to me is because then I was able to just take the gloves off. Who was going to mess with the guy who has inoperable cancer? I have a tumor that's been sitting on my neck for 10 years. And that tumor was my defense against anybody who wanted to mess with me. So I just kept digging this. I just kept digging my grave. I got sober in 2014, and I've told this story many times. And my last, a lot of things led up to it, but my last drunk was in Vegas, where I found myself having been blacking out all night on the floor of my hotel, surrounded by cops and security, telling me that I had to leave because I had just tried to bang a hooker in a broom closet while my girlfriend slept in the hotel room next to us.
Man,
solid. And
that's
I can't
a sign
not
from
tell,
the universe.
I can't not tell that story, or nobody's going to care about the rest, and that's an important, I had to fly home the next day, and I spent that entire 5-hour flight trying to decide whether I wanted to live or die. And so getting sober was actually one of the easiest things that I'd ever done, because I got off the plane that day and I called my dad, who's got 4 decades of sobriety, and I expected him to be mad at me. And instead he's like, "Oh, thank God, I've been waiting for you." Because I didn't want to live that way anymore. And that was one of the most impactful moments of my life, because that was the first time I made a conscious decision to live differently. But fast forward 2 years later, when I got cancer for the 4th time, I still felt a victim. I kept saying over and over and over again, you can only get cancer so many times and not die. That was my self-talk. And I hadn't realized just how much I was poisoning the well, because I was ready to die. I didn't want to do it anymore. I was just so hurt and just dealing with so much bullshit inside. And when they took that out and there was no follow-up, and they gave me the first all clear that I had had since the first time I had had cancer 11 years, that's when I found myself in that empty state from when my boss walked in the office. So all those lessons, all those things, I hadn't learned anything except thinking that I was a victim. And it wasn't until I began doing obstacle course racing and just realizing how good it feels to overcome stuff and to push limitations. Like, remember when we were kids and someone remember, I don't know, right now when someone tells you can't do something, you're like, "Oh yeah, watch me." I had gotten out of that, and it became, you can't do these things. You can't do these things. And I'm like, you know what? Yes, I can. When now we've got doctors telling me, "Hey, with your disc, you shouldn't be running." And I'm like, yeah, okay, watch me. Without this, you can't do that. You can't do that. And so as I started just defying all these things that I thought about myself, as I stripped away all the bullshit and lies I'd been telling myself, that's when my eyes became more and more open to kind of seeing these lessons of my own progress. Does that make sense?
No, it does. And thank you for answering my next 2 questions.
I'm a storyteller, and I don't tell short stories.
Together a handful of these here. Shit. All right. So actually, man, hearing you talk, brother, did you have the same type of cancer like every single time, or what's the deal with that?
This is a little bit interesting because it was thyroid cancer the first time. And, if you don't know much about cancer, all you really think about is chemo and death. And that's all I had known too. But as far as cancers go, thyroid cancer, especially if you catch it early, is the one you want, because it's not very aggressive and you can live without a thyroid. So supposedly they took out all my thyroid. But in 2007, when I had a recurrence, it turns out they had only taken half my thyroid. So they took out the rest of it. And in 2013, it's the same cancer that I got. It's still thyroid cancer. It's just that there's still going to be residual tissue and cells, and they attach to things and something. But 2016 was different. That was a different type of cancer. And it was actually treated at the sarcoma clinic at Moffitt Cancer Center. Surprisingly, though, that's the one I know least about, because it was the simplest. We found cancer in the back of my head and they carved it out.
And I know that's a pain, dude. My dad had stage 4 or stage 3 throat cancer twice. But he grew up in Miami, so he's had his back cut out, man, and his head like all over the place. I know. Fuck cancer. Fuck cancer. That's all I'm gonna say, dude. I hate it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
amen to that.
my dad's had cancer 3 times, but me and all my siblings only found out about it after he didn't have cancer anymore. Like, I'm serious. He had skin cancer twice, and my dad was a home inspector for 30 years. So outside all the time, he had skin cancer twice. They caught it early. He had, they pulled everything off or whatever, and then he got prostate cancer a few years ago, and we only found out because none of us had heard from him, and we're like, dude, like, where the hell's our father? Oh, by the way, I had fucking cancer. Like, seriously, man? Like, so yeah, I haven't dealt with it that much, but it's not hereditary in my family. Is cancer common in your family, Nick? Do you know at all?
I don't really have a lot of family history. I don't think so. But here's the thing: once cancer touches you, you kind of see it everywhere.
Yeah.
I don't think I can be in a group of 3 people and not have at least everybody have some sort of either personal experience or know that they know somebody. And that's, when you said fuck cancer, and you've probably seen it, like, oh, of course you've seen it. It was in the post. That's how I race. I race with fuck cancer across my chest. And I don't do that for me. It's not for my own thing. It's because everyone's experience is different, but I always feel like I'm sitting at the kids' table. I had surgery. I take pills. I didn't have to go through chemo. I didn't have to go through radiation. I really wasn't facing immediate peril. And that's not true for a lot of people. And for a while, I struggled with that. That's one of the reasons I never talked about it. Like, I really didn't talk about it. When I would go to Moffitt Cancer Center, I wore sunglasses and I wouldn't make eye contact with anyone because I was walking out of there and I wasn't comfortable knowing that. It really took me a long time to realize that I shouldn't feel bad for being alive. And it's hard, because you see other people in this position, and I wear fuck cancer because it's the only way I know how to help, because there are other people going through it. And no matter what, I know what it feels like to hear those words. You have cancer. And as an alcoholic, there are many times in my life where I've been isolated and felt alone, but you can be in a room full of people and that room goes dark except for you when you're hearing those words for the first time. And I just wanted to let other people know that they weren't alone. And I think that's also a big part of what's happened to me in my journey, is that vulnerability is a superpower. I'm not afraid to telling all of it now. In fact, there's still some things that get you emotionally, right? Like I'm in recovery here. So for a long time, the only emotion I was in touch with was my anger. So to start learning how to like function and think and feel like a human being is definitely a working process. But the more that I do talk about it now, the less power it has over me. And it's like I'm helping others in the process by letting them know they're not alone. And I have to be vulnerable. I'm at a place now where I'm finally strong enough to actually say that I was afraid. And just look behind me and tell me that I'm not tough, right? Like
I love that you said that, man. Talking about the vulnerability thing and what you just said about tell me I'm not tough, man. Because not only does it mean something for you talking about the cancer, but also think it also means something from you and all of us as a man. Being able to open yourself up and be vulnerable to other people. Being a man, we're supposed to be strong. So. I think, man, you owe yourself a pat on the back on both those fronts, brother, because we all struggle with that, telling our story and being open and honest and not being afraid of what people's judgment may be of us, whether it be because of our medical or sex or whatever like that. So applause to you, my friend. Applause.
I appreciate that. I'm fueled by the people that I help. It takes one person once a week commenting on one video, sending one message, telling me one thing, and it just makes all other things easier at that point. And helping others is it's a self-renewing energy. It really is. And the more that I do, the more that it props me up and it helps me. I'm able to deal with this shit. They're tearing up my damn kitchen tomorrow. All right. Like I got every nickel in my life invested in trying to pay the mortgage while I'm trying to build my speaking business. I don't have room for that shit in my life. But you know what? It's not that I went through cancer that I'm not like, oh, well, it's better than cancer. No, I don't know if it is. Like tearing out my living room, the kitchen. But I know that I can put it in perspective. I know that I can get through it because there is no evidence to the contrary. It doesn't mean that it won't suck. But again, whoever said it was supposed to be easy? Why do we get in our heads that everything was supposed to be our, like, this ain't the movies?
So a side question here, and dude, you and I've talked about how weird and geeky I am about stuff. Have you? This is gonna sound so fucking crazy.
I'll wait for this one.
It is, bro. Just wait. This is gonna sound so crazy because I actually touched on it in my flyer for him. But have they ever studied anything about you, man? Like the cancer place you went to? 'Cause I mean, dude, it can't be fucking normal that someone has cancer 4 times, 3 different types of cancer. Like, has that had been a thing yet for you?
It hadn't. And to be honest, and again, I have no I tell a story within a story all the time. So during the pandemic, I was on like this Zoom call with a bunch of people, and it was me and another cancer survivor who were sort of the guests. And she went first, and God, I wish she hadn't, because she basically took a different approach to her disease. She basically joined the medical team, right? She knew everything about it. She knew all the medical stuff, like literally everything. Okay. So when it got to my turn, I'm like, lump in my throat. They cut it out. Because my approach is this: you went to medical school. I didn't. Like, you take care of that shit. I'm going to go back and live my life. But I don't think there is anything unique about, honestly, the only thing that's unique about me is the fact that I speak about it. Because I mean, even Hunter mentioned a minute ago, like talking about somebody else who had, cancer several times and several different types of cancer. And when I had it the second time, my doctor at the time even said to me, he's like, listen, your prognosis is very good. By the way, you'll probably get it again. I'm like, huh? He's like, and I don't remember the exact words, but whether it's the antibodies, a cell, something, he's like, the likelihood of you getting cancer again is pretty high. He's like, but don't be alarmed. The prognosis will still be good. And so I think I probably maybe had either had really bad luck or really good luck, depending on how you want to look at it.
You know what? I just had a great idea for a t-shirt for you. You need to make something that says cancer, the gift that keeps on giving. And on the back, put "and the one I keep beating" or something like that. Like, dude, like that's what cancer is to you, the gift that keeps on giving, man. Like,
if you actually go back into the archives, and I wouldn't do this because I post a lot and it would take months.
Yeah, you do. Yeah.
Before I even wanted to do this, I did something that I called Facebook therapy, where let's say I was going to Moffitt Cancer Center for my ultrasound or my checkup. I'd make a quote like, I'm going to pick a fight. Or I'd be like, all right, yippee-ki-yay, motherfucker, I'm coming for you. Like, I talk shit. I talk shit to cancer. Like, that's how I deal with it too. And it's just, there's always been like these little speeches that I just kind of put out in the atmosphere. And I even talk about it in my book. I don't put stuff out there because I wanted everyone else's claps. As a matter of fact, I almost would have preferred they don't, because I just feel like this is the want to be a man. I don't want anyone think I want sympathy. But at the same time, something I've also, since I've realized this now, that vulnerability is not a weakness, it's a superpower. And also, we are stronger together. I posted about this morning, a small segment from a podcast I was on a few weeks ago, that everyone needs a wolf pack. Everyone needs a tribe. Nobody has done this shit by themselves. And being involved in community and just being around and surrounded by people who have like issues and have been through it before, there's not a single unique person on the planet. I mean, everyone's unique, but let's be honest, nobody is at the same time. Everyone's gone through what somebody's gone through. And the more we share about it, the more we normalize, the more people don't feel alone, the stronger they feel, the less those things have power over us.
Absolutely. So Rob, I don't know if this was like going to be in your questions, but Nick, I love that you've been talking about the victim mentality, just like kind of across the board. And you kind of see like in days, in the times we're living in, like that's a huge thing that, the younger generations young and old. Like, I mean, everybody's kind of tending to that. What was like your aha moment when you're like, all right, whatever's coming at me, I'm gonna fucking handle it like a man. Like, I'm gonna kick it to the curb and just make it my bitch, essentially. Like, what was that, that light bulb moment where you just had control?
Something to understand about me too is that as passionate I am, the passion has always been there. And so when I was a sales leader, the passion was there. And, when I was still drinking, there was definitely some personal shortcomings, but even after I got sober, it's a learning process. And this is all by way of saying there was a lot of people that I hadn't been good to. I was all about ego defense for a long time. And when I started doing obstacle course racing, that really just, I don't know, that exposing yourself to the elements, that really just getting in that savage carnal thing, like back to whatever, like
primal mode.
Primal. Thank you. Carnal is not the right word. The primal mode. Well, maybe two. I mean, that's where I really began this journey of like self-discovery. And the reason I mentioned that is because as I started doing this Spartan racing, I read all the books and I read all the stuff. It wasn't just this physical thing. It was about mind, body, and spirit. And it really kind of combined these things together for me. And so for the first several months while I'm doing this, people started to react to me differently. I even had somebody tell me who once I didn't know thought two things about me. It was like, he even told me, he's like, yeah, you were kind of a dick. He's like, I really like where your head's at these days. And so I started becoming a better person and I really started enjoying the life. And I just felt like I was peaking. And then I pulled up to a red light one day after training with my buddy. And that's when it hit me. The second car accident I was in. Woman, she was going full speed, hit me while I was sitting at a red light at a turn lane. And she goes flying off my Jeep, flipped her car over a couple times. It was straight out of the movies. And that accident, whereas I technically walked away, is where I got the other 5 herniated discs. I had nerve damage from that. I went home that day and my cat of 12 years died. And all of a sudden, this thing that I thought had changed my life was being taken away from me. And I remember I was standing outside because I had a house on the water for a while in Tampa Bay, and in the mornings, so I would always go do my warm-ups and stuff out back. And I was standing outside and I'm just deciding what to do. I wanted to give up, but I didn't. And this is where I was really listening to like a lot of motivational videos and a lot of those compilations like Eric Thomas and stuff like that. And it really was something surreal and out of the movies. And I'm just sort of looking at the water and I'm looking around, and it was like, what do you want to do? Are you going to be a victim? Are you a survivor? And I was like, I don't want to be a survivor anymore. I don't want to just get by. I am tired of just hanging on. Life has to be something fucking more than this. And that was the moment. That was the decision that I said, that's how I am going to live. I'm going to fucking win. I'm not a survivor. I am going to win. I'm going to fight. I'm going to be a warrior. I hadn't even quite understood what my purpose was yet. I just knew that there was something and I had to chase it. And that was a tough moment. If all of a sudden, like, you hit some switch and you think you're living your best life and then it's suddenly being ripped away from you, it's so easy to just regress and go back to the person you were. But it was evolve or die moment for me.
So two things. First, I want to say I love the pun. I was sitting at the red light and then it hit me, literally. I love the pun. Secondly, what kind of car do you drive currently, if you don't mind me asking, Nick?
I got a 4Runner now.
That's good, because obviously Jeeps are not your fucking thing.
I know.
I advise you stay away from anything with the word Jeep in it. I'm just
I know. I miss it too. That one didn't get too dinged up, but it was that one was a Wrangler at least, but they were both white Jeeps. Even my buddy was like, bro, you just got to drive a different car for a while.
Back off.
That's what I'm saying. Hunter, yes, that was one of my questions, man. That was my next question, dude. So awesome off the top of your head. Here's something. Fucking brain glitch. Can you touch on your type 1 diabetes diagnosis? And this is what I mean by that. So, obviously there's a stigma out there for the most part about diabetes. It's usually unhealthy people, maybe large people. Although, people can be born with it, but you said you got it later in life. And I mean, you look like a healthy person. Even in your past, you looked fairly healthy. So, I mean, was there a reason for that, or was just, hey, you got damn diabetes?
You know, I hear lots of things, and my understanding is this: people don't know dick about diabetes, and by people, I mean doctors too. um, I did have a sweet tooth, but what does that have to do with it? Like the I was it was right after my shoulder surgery. And so I have heard things like that trauma might be something that can kind of set something off or set a change. But again, I don't know if that's hearsay or medical diagnosis or what, you know. They call it, type 1 juvenile diabetes because most people tend to get it when their kids are younger, but yet almost everyone else I talked to as a type 1 diabetic got it like later in life too. So I don't know if there's a lot of rhyme or reason, but I do know that part of that stigma is type 1 diabetes and type 2 diabetes are different things. And type 1 diabetes is insulin dependent, and it means your pancreas is not creating insulin. There's any number of things that might cause that, and I do believe that genetics is probably number one. Type 2 diabetes is more than likely a response to bad lifestyle choices. That's why they say that you can reverse it, or hey, you're developing diabetes, for people who are just overweight and inactive and constantly eating bad, etc. But I'm not the medical expert, and I don't know if that's just a thing. But I do know this: losing weight with diabetes is really goddamn hard, because you have to account for your carbs and stuff when taking insulin, but there is not an exact science on this. There's a lot of things that could throw it off. And so I might, like, consistency is your best friend, but there might be some unknown thing going on inside of me that makes my body react different to the insulin. And when the blood sugar drops, you have to take more sugar. I mean, it's a constant balancing act. So it's this constant lifestyle. And so a lot of people, I think my life is hard to do what I do. I mean, I have to defy a lot of things. Like when I go and run an ultra, like a 30-mile race, I'm taking 40 or 50 gel packs out there with me. Like I'm carrying a pharmacy out there, I'm constantly having to measure things, monitor things, and make these decisions before I go into it. I wouldn't get to look the way I did without putting in that work. And so I think diabetes just presents a lot of excuses for a lot of people to take their foot off the gas, which then makes them more out of shape.
Yeah.
So I don't know. One might be the symptom, one might be the cause, and it might be vice versa.
See, this is just another reason you need to be studied by a medical research team. Because crazy, dude, like maybe there's a connection between your cancer and the treatment that put you into the type 1 diabetes thing, since there's any number of reasons. Man, you are literally a medical fucking anomaly, Nick. Like, seriously, dude.
Bro, like at least once a year, at least once a year, I declare myself healthy and pretty much fire all my doctors and stop going for a while. You just can't spend your whole life doing that all the time. And I hate feeling like a patient. And, sometimes I get very responsible. And I also go on these kicks where I'm in a doctor's office every 3 days. But sometimes you're just like, all right, I'm tapped out.
That's how they get you. They're like, all right, we're going to keep track on you. Just write this down. We'll see you back here. Always a problem, it seems. But I feel like, Rob, if he goes to the government or the doctors, they're going to kidnap him, and then there's going to be a clone of Nick running around. It's like
they're going to use Nick
to end up in a lab somewhere
to make the next superhuman. That's what they're going to do.
What do you mean they're going to make the next superhuman being?
Oh, I love it. Oh, bro. Sick.
Dude, I had so much fun when you probably can't see now, but in 2019 I ran the New York City Marathon, and it was about a day or two. It was like a day or two after Halloween. And so I really love Halloween. I wanted to dress up for Halloween, but you can't wear a mask on a plane. So I shaved my beard a little bit. I'm gonna send you a picture later. I went as Tony Stark.
Hell yeah.
Oh yeah.
I can see that.
Robert Downey Jr. And when I was in New York, I wore the glasses anyway. Even during the marathon, people were like, hey, it's Iron Man. But I'd go get a coffee somewhere, and somebody goes, hey, did anybody ever tell you look like Robert Downey Jr.? And I was like, what do you mean looks like?
Yeah. That's good shit. Hey, I saw you've even done stuff overseas, bro. I watched a video of you, something in Germany, right? You did a thing over there, huh?
So when I my first marathon was actually the 2018 Boston Marathon. A marathon was a 4-letter word to me. Even when I started getting into this, I'm like, fucking 26 miles, no way. Like, I don't want to drive that. And after the bombing in 2013, I wanted to punch back somehow. And that's how I wanted to punch back, is that's when I got it in my head that I wanted to run a marathon at some point. And so I ended up getting into running the Boston Marathon, and I told myself that it was going to be a one and done. It was just something like, I want to do one marathon. And I crossed the finish line. I'm from Massachusetts. I've been to Marathon Monday a dozen times. I mean, this is like the holy grail of marathons. And I finished and I'm like, yeah, happy as I could ever be. And I got my medal and I am just ready to make out with this thing. And then I see somebody walk by and they've got 6 medals in one medal hanging around their chest. And I'm like, walking like Flava Flav. And I'm like, what is that? And he's like, oh, that's the 6 star. When you run each of the Abbott World Majors 6 marathons, you get one of these. And so that includes Boston, Chicago, New York, Berlin, Tokyo, and London. And so I actually ran Chicago later that year, and I was like, man, I'm already third of the way through. I might as well just go for this. So I ran New York, and then in 2021, I just or 22. 22. Sorry, it all rolls into one big beating. In 22, I applied for the marathon, the lottery, and got accepted. So my wife and I went out to Germany, and I ran my awesome part of the story, at least I like to tell it. Exactly 90 days before the Berlin Marathon, I fractured my rib in a Spartan race.
Oh,
mile 3 of an 8-mile race. It was probably the most painful thing I'd ever gone through. And I finished the race. And that was actually the first time that I ever raced with "fuck cancer" written across my chest. And that's why I couldn't quit the race. You just can't go quitting things when you have that. So after that, I went home and I couldn't move for like a couple days. And then I was like, well, my Spartan season's over since I can't twist my body. So I just did marathon training, like literally taped myself up, ran like this so I wouldn't like move at all. And 90 days later, I actually ran my personal best in the Berlin Marathon, and running on through the Brandenburg gates was like, man, that was just one of the coolest things ever.
Man, I bet. I saw that picture, dude. I was like, dude, that shit is so
I'm like,
sick.
Napoleon marched through here. I'm like, that is fucking cool. So wish me luck on the lotteries for London and Tokyo, because that's
they've run lotteries for them. Like, they're that popular, man.
Oh yeah, like for Boston,
shit.
I had to fundraise like $25,000 just to get in.
Are you serious?
Yeah, the Boston is one of the hardest ones because the qualifying times are legit, and then there's a few. There's like maybe 5,000 extra spots that they have for like sponsors and partners that they give away and stuff, and then there's maybe a couple thousand runners that have to fundraise for Boston charities to get in.
Bro, would be America if someone wasn't making money off of it.
Hey, you said charities. You said charities.
Yeah, no, the charity teams is definitely a good organization. Well, the thing about Boston is it started as a local race, and that's part of the reason they do like the charity teams and access, is because they don't want to make it just a professional race. So yeah, as Claudia's saying, you have to have certain times for qualifying times, or they get faster and faster every year. And there are people who think they qualify for Boston, but then there's so many people that didn't qualify and then they don't even get in. I mean, it's extraordinarily competitive, and it's just that many people want to do it.
So what's like the mile time you have to, do they do it by mile, or is it like you have to run a marathon and be like, all right, here's my time?
Yeah, you have to qualify at certain other events. So I think that my qualifying time, I'll be 45 this year. So I think it's around 3 hours and 10 minutes if I were to qualify, but my PR was almost 2 hours more than that. So I will not be qualifying anytime ever, or at least soon.
That's wild. Are there people that just hop in and just like sneak their way through just to run it for free?
Rosie Ruiz, man, that was like 1986. A woman, this happened. A woman won, yes. And it was found out that she took the subway. She literally took the subway in about like maybe a half mile, a quarter mile. She slipped out from the crowd and won the race, and they discovered that she hadn't, after the fact. Wow. But
I have seen that story. That's so funny you brought that up, man. Like, I have heard about that. It was it was some big shit back in the day, dude. Like,
I'd hate
Yeah.
to be in the bad. I'd hate to be in the bad corner of the marathon community because you can't run from those guys. All right.
And that was a
I'm not
horrible
that
thing to
fast.
do too, because the person who should have won didn't get to cross the finish line as a winner, and that's not something that people get to do all the time. You know what I mean?
Hey,
Dang.
so my next question, and after this, I actually want to give obviously your book a plug because it really goes into all of the stuff that I think it's the culmination of everything that you're doing. I feel is what your book is about. You know what I mean? I haven't read it, but from what Jason has told me and some other people that I know or that I've seen that have commented on it, that seems what it is. But obviously you're doing the motivational, sales stuff as well with all of this, using your background from logistics and sales and that, which, dude, I want to say you've got an incredible freaking looking resume on LinkedIn. Like, you have a stellar background, brother. But how has you taking part in these endurance races and the Spartan events, how was that affect your sales coaching or play into it? And this is kind of a 3-part one. So how does it affect or play into your sales coaching, your general life, and your motivational endeavors, just like your content about hyping people up?
That is a great question. And it all boils down to mindset, because, and I realize this too, as I look through my previous book, and then when I'm looking at my whiteboard over here, because I got like a lot of stuff that I'm putting together for coaching on like key principles of resilience. The new book that I'm writing, which is called Selling Inspired, Unleashing Your Warrior Mindset for Sales, which will be coming out sometime in the next couple months. The keynote speech and everything that I talk about in all my videos and on all the podcasts all boil down to a process for building resilience. It's the same whether or not I am building resilience, trying to climb a rope for 5 extra minutes, or whether I am trying to deal with a double broker, some fraudster motherfucker who had us move tires, but paid for it with stolen credit cards. Somebody else who had created a profile pretending he was the shipping manager at a company that he really was not, and ran up a bill with us and then disappeared. Capacity issues, economy issues, personnel issues. You really have an opportunity to just put things into perspective and treat them all as, a lot of it's just noise. So that's what it all centers around, is just the way that we deal with the mindset. Because the thing that gets me through it, the reason that, I told you I was able to do that race with the broken rib is because I was running for my friends and for anyone else who'd ever been through or was ever going to go through cancer. Your why is your everything. I can stand on my head, on a bed of nails if I'm doing it for the right reason. I don't run to race. I run for what I'm racing for. Things like embracing failure. Like, if in sales, if you live and die by every call and every sale, that's why people start avoiding cold calls after like their first day, because they live and die by the result of every sale, not realizing that failure is part of the process. Like, you can't skip it. And if you try to avoid failure, it causes failure. The things that we find about, and this is a huge one, because having taken personal responsibility for everything in my life now, and I mean everything. When I was running an office last year, we had a saying in our office, a credo really, and it really bothered people at first, which was, it is our responsibility. We do not pass the buck, because no customer wants to hear us blame the carrier. No carrier wants to hear us say, oh, the customer screwed you. And I'm like, we're the one you're doing business with. It's not our fault. Doesn't matter who's to blame, but it's our responsibility now. And once you take away those excuses, all of a sudden, and people resist. They resist at first, because it's too easy to fall back on our blame and excuses. But once you sort of strip that away and they take ownership of an issue, they excel. And then not only do they excel, they realize that they're more powerful, and they don't want that crutch anymore of being able to blame and place it on other people. I don't want that crutch. I want to be in charge. I want to be responsible. I want to be accountable. And these are all things that have come from this experience that apply to sales and business and personal life. And again, one of the huge things that I talk about is community and belonging, because I am at my best when I feel like I am part of something bigger than myself. But you have to be a contributing member too. If you're just sitting around waiting for other people, nobody's coming to rescue you. Nobody's coming to rescue. There are people who will help, but you still have to ask for the help. You have to take the action in your own life. I talk about building mental endurance a lot, and that physical endurance is mental endurance. When I'm running a 20-mile run in Florida in August, do you think there's any other thoughts I have besides what the fuck am I doing with my life? I want to quit the whole time. It's hot. I'm sweating. I'm losing weight. I'm like having blinding headaches and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like just thinking about all these things. And sometimes I grit out those runs knowing that I'm like doing terrible physical performance. And I say, who cares? If I can suffer just a little bit longer, then I can suffer a little bit longer. I can focus a little bit longer. I can endure something a little bit longer. But with that creates these other good habits. Like obstacle course racing helped me really tie it in mind, body, and spirit, because I had been on the spiritual journey through my sobriety. And I'm not a religious man, but I believe in God and I have a relationship with like a higher power. I like to read and I'm physical, but I needed something to kind of tie these all together. And through obstacle course racing, I started doing meditation and visualization and just things that are constant. I did for 5 minutes before we got on here. Just shut my eyes for 5 minutes. It was like, just clear my head, think of a good outcome, relax, go. It takes all that pressure off, because when you're in a job, in a position where everyone in the world expects you to be able to control everything, but nothing is within your control besides your own actions, it takes a lot of discipline to focus only on your actions. But it's the only thing we can control.
That is very
I
true.
love that.
I don't know what you're selling, but I'm buying. When we get off here, just let me know where I need to send my credit card information.
Here, I'll tell you what, this is where I think, because especially these days, right, with so many remote sales forces, right, so many fragmented, companies that are really just spread out throughout the country, with so much new leadership, salespeople are on an island, brokers and just everyone's on an island. Imagine at least 20 years ago when I got into sales, they gave me this rah-rah speech about how we need to be likable and people person and high energy and extroverts and all this other stuff, right? And now they shove you in a closet and give you a laptop and expect the same results. There's a disconnect. And people thrive with that sense of purpose. Resilience thrives when there's a deep sense of purpose. And a lot of that has to do with connection and just alignment. So aligning the purpose of the rep with the manager, with the VP, with the ops team, and the mission of the company can give people a lot of strength. People can fight for a lot when they know what they're fighting for.
Hell yeah, no doubt. So I want to give your book some love. Claudia, she's hearing it. She says, "Hey, link her the book." I found it on Amazon, but obviously, well, I say obviously, I'm going to ask you something before we get off. So this is Nick's book right here. As you can see, it is called Through the Fire. I'll let him touch on it here in a second, but this is the cover, dude. I love that fucking cover art. That shit is sick right there. It is on Amazon. You can get the paperback for $14.95. You see $22.95 for the hardcover. You can even Google it or go to Amazon and just put in Through the Fire, and Nick's book is the first thing that pops up. Nick, before you get into it, I want to know, is there a way for us, myself, Hunter, maybe Claudia, anyone else? I'll gladly order it through here, but dude, I would really rather get it from you and have you sign something. So if you would, is there a way we can get it besides here? You can say that now or after the show, or give me the info whenever.
Yeah, absolutely. Number one, just message me your address here when we're done. But for anyone listening, I love sending out signed copies. And if you were to message me on anywhere, we can do that. I'm asking for $20 for those that I send out for people. It's a few dollars more than what's on Amazon because, I got to ship it. But I am absolutely more than happy to do it. And if there are e-reader people out there, probably in about 3-4 weeks, I'll actually be running a free promo for the Kindle version.
Nice.
Oh, sweet. Awesome. So would you go ahead and, tell us, what the book's about, man? What's the message that you're trying to put out through this one?
So, the through the fire is both literal and metaphorical, right? Because that's an actual picture. It's been a little bit enhanced. And the last obstacle in a Spartan race is the fire jump. But my story isn't about being in the fire. My story is about coming through the fire. And the story opens with what at the time was the biggest physical challenge that I'd ever done, which was about to run an ultra Spartan race, a 31-mile obstacle course with about 70 obstacles. And then it begins to just take you through my entire journey of how I got there. I didn't want to make it a life story, but there was a lot of parts from my past and history and just a lot of little nuggets that really kind of had to go and contribute along the way. So I actually do a before and after thing. Like chapter 3 is about when I got cancer. Chapter 4 is back to current. Chapter 5, et cetera, before and after, because it also takes you through this journey is the things I began to learn and discover as I go through obstacle course racing. Ultimately, that 2017 year when I had that taken away from me, I really went on a tear. And so the following season, that's when I said, I'm going to get 5 trifectas. That's 3 race distances of a Spartan race in a year. So that meant I was going to do, 5 of the half marathon distance, 5 of the 10K, 5 of the 5K distance. And it's not just doing the race, right? It takes time. It takes staying healthy. It takes money. It takes travel. It takes all these things, the ability to actually do those things, etc. And because I had set the goal and it was really just a matter of it was about enduring. It was about enduring the hardships and keep moving forward and coming through the other side to experience the lessons. Most of the lessons and things that I talk about now are actually the ones that I learned while I was revising and writing the book, ironically as it sounds. But the key thing of the book is where, honestly, you could probably read the last page and it would tell people, because I just want to inspire others to take purposeful action towards their goals. I want to remove these barriers that we put in front of ourselves, thinking that we can't do things because of some sort of adversity that we face. I don't think I'm anything special. I think I'm relatable. I think that because I've had all these things happen to me, but nothing has been super extreme, it just helps relate to a lot of different people who are going through things, because I'm not a professional athlete, at all. And if you look at some more of my videos, you've probably even seen that I put my failures on up there too, because I want people to, if you see David Goggins and you're not already working out, you're not getting off the couch. You're going to be like, that dude's superhuman. I can't do that. If you see me, maybe you'll get off the couch. Just maybe. So yeah, the book tells a lot of relatable stories and then puts them in the context of the physical obstacles that I was overcoming and the metaphorical obstacles that they relate to, ultimately resulting in a life change and a transformation.
I love that.
Yeah, that's awesome, brother. That's
yeah. Seeing David Goggins run 15 miles with a 400-pound log over his back at 3 a.m. isn't it's not real relatable. But
I mean, if people knew, the thing is, a lot of people just see his social media and they don't know, he talks, what he always talks about is mindset.
Yeah.
People who don't know enough just see that, right? And they think that's what he's about, but that's how it manifests for him. And to a point, that's how it manifests for me. But he's about one thing, I'm a little bit more not well-rounded, because I'm not comparing myself, but I have other priorities and interests too that all support this sort of goal of mine in life and all support my purpose. But it's not just about racing, my sobriety comes first. I don't care about shit else, because if there ain't no number 1, there ain't no number 2. I focus a lot on my diabetes, because if I can't get my health under control, then it really doesn't matter what number 3 is. So of course, for me, I spread these out a little bit, because I'm not trying to be the best at one thing. I'm just trying to be the best that I can. And, if you look at guys like Jocko and Cameron Haynes, these are badasses. I'm not taking anything away from the stuff that they do. It's just that they focus on the one thing. If you want to be the best at something, that's got to be the only thing that you do.
Absolutely.
I like that, man. I like it, dude. And we'll send you our info, and also Claudia, she wants to get info to pay you. So in that same thing, just give us your Venmo or Zelle or PayPal or whatever when Hunter and I get with you. So Claudia can get with you, dude. We're fucking all about supporting people, man. You know what I'm saying? So and when you're freaking like super famous, dude, when David Goggins is like, Nick, I need you to come on my podcast, and
When he's wearing Nick Klingensmith pajamas.
Yes. Yes. Then I'm a, hey, Hunter and I are going to put our books out there on eBay. No,
Signed copy.
Exactly, man. Exactly. All right, brother. So these are the last few questions that I got for you, but what are your short-term goals, Nick? I mean, what are you trying to do in the next 6 months or in 2024?
All right. So I told you number one, stay sober, one day at a time. That is my number one goal. Number two goal is about my diabetes. It's achieving a certain blood sugar number over 90 days. But now we break down into my business goals, because if I don't have money, I can't do anything else. So speaking engagements is the number one focus. I'm looking at my whiteboard again because I'm pretty meticulous. I took an annual goal starting with a revenue number and then broke it down how I might try to achieve it. So this quarter alone, it is my goal to book 8 speaking gigs, one of which I've already booked and done. I want to do 30 podcasts before the end of the quarter. This is number 7. So hopefully we'll get some more conversations going on out there. I am looking to book 1 more individual coaching client this month, a total of 3 before the end of the quarter. And things are going to start ramping up from there. So as far as and you will see my book out my new book by the end of March, which is either going to be revolutionary or it's going to completely suck, because I am trying to blend all my worlds into that book: sales and overcoming adversity and obstacle course racing and just the lessons in life learned. The number one challenge that you're going to hear me talk about, though, is the same thing I've been talking about for the last couple of years. Is there's an obstacle course race in Killington, Vermont, a Spartan race, and it's an ultra, and it's a 31-mile race with about 18,000 feet of elevation. And I have done it twice, and both times I have failed to finish the race. In 2021, only 27% of the people finished the race, and I think it was closer to 40 last year. And so, I mean, it's a hell of a race, and that is my number one goal outside of like my survival goals this year. So anybody following me probably in the next month or so is going to start seeing me talk about that a lot. But really my big focus is going to be getting out my story as many as people as I can and trying to help people and hopefully paying the mortgage along the way.
Cool. So the lounge, we can help you with 2 of those things. Dude, if you need someone to help you do 23 more podcasts, fucking come on.
Yeah,
We'll be glad to help you meet your goal, bro. We just have you as an extra commentator for the rest of the quarter. Second, whenever you get close to dropping your book or after it drops, whatever, brother, we want to have you back on, man. Give yourself a little plug. Again, dude, we're all about having people come back, man, as they progress or add things or, put new stuff out. So,
and make sure I send you some copies when I get it done.
Yeah, for sure, bro. We appreciate it. But we want you on, man. We want you back on, dude. You know what I mean? So, talk about your book and shit, man. This one, I had it as 2 questions, but I'll actually wrap it up into one. What it was what is your end goal? But I like the way I worded it to you. What is your dream that you want from your journey? Like, if there was the perfect life movie for Nick Klingensmith, and at the end, fucking roll credits, what would that perfect movie look like for you?
I'm only laughing because when I'm running for hours on end, I just visualize and daydream. Like, so I could answer this question pretty fucking specific.
Let's go, bro. Let's go.
If Through the Fire were a movie, all right, it's going to end with me achieving something there. It actually would end probably in Greece, where I proposed to my wife in front of the King Leonidas statue, really making it difficult for the next guy to live up to that one. But, it would probably see me achieving the final race of the year or something like that. But then it would fade out to where I'm now at some event where I am speaking to people who I've already helped, or helping. I'm talking to the people that have helped me, that I am inspiring. The person who's going to find me one day and told me that I saved their life or that I helped somebody else that they know. But the fade credits part is when Dirty Heads is on stage and they call me out to do a song with them.
Yep.
Oh, man.
Not joking. And so I literally am just kind of, because I hear the song and I'm just kind of jamming out to it, and I can just kind of picture that. I'm like, yeah, man, because I love a lot of Cali reggae, and I will turn a song and turn it into whatever I want. If I hear like 3 words in a song that click a memory or resonate with me, it really doesn't matter what the song's about. It's about what I want it to be now. So,
I'm on vacation every single day because I love my occupation. I love that shit, man.
I picture Dark Days as being the closeout song.
Hell yeah.
That's awesome,
I'm
bro.
gonna have to go listen to that.
Listen.
Yeah, it's on my training mix. Like my running mix is very eclectic. There's like the Rocky soundtrack, there's Rage Against the Machine, there's Linkin Park, there's Jimmy Buffett.
Gotta mix it up. Nothing wrong with some Buffett.
Bro, if it's a 4-hour run, there's not one genre I want to listen to.
Right. Oh man, that's fucking awesome, dude. That's amazing. Hunter, do you have? Well, actually, yes, Hunter. Do you have anything that you want to touch on, broski?
Yeah, of course. Nick, thank you for being on the show. Of course, dude, your story is amazing. I love how you're just you. Like you break it down like nothing's too hard. You just gotta want it. You gotta want it for you and nobody else. And that's something that definitely resonates with me, and I'm sure others. But yeah, dude, looking forward to getting into that book and your next one. And did you say your next race is what, 18,000 feet altitude?
That's the big goal. It's actually, I mean, you do 5 climbs of the mountain and you do it twice. Yeah. So it's about, when I DNF'd, I raced for 7 hours and 46 minutes. I covered 19 miles in 10,000 feet and failed by 6 minutes. Dude,
that's wild. I went to Denver a few times and it's like, whoo, I'm out of breath.
I think the peak is just over 3,000 feet, but like I said, you climb it. Oh no, it's maybe it's like 1,500 or something. I don't know. I can't do math, but
still,
it's a lot of climbing. And I live in Florida.
Yeah, man. Yeah. Well, I love it, man. I definitely in your corner. You got us here at the lounge, man. So once again, thank you, bro.
I appreciate you guys.
Man, dude, I am so excited that we got you, bro, and that you were so accessible, like so fast. I remember as soon as I started the show, I was like, I'm fucking connected.
Dude, your comments are cracking me up.
Man, like I will say, man, you're aside from kind of the norm, but I don't know, man. Like I just dig what you're about, dude. Like once I read about you, man, and then I was like, man, I know we're a logistics show. Oh wait, he worked for a logistics company. We'll just use that. But man, it really is an honor, Nick, man. I mean, seriously, brother. Dude, everything that you got going on, your story, the path you're on, the journey you're on, the things that you're doing, how you set goals, like all of it, it's just it's fucking motivational. I mean, really, what else can you say, man? And dude, that's awesome. Before we get to our closing sponsor thing, Nick, do you have anything you want to say, man? In anything at all? Give yourself plugs or just tell your wife you love her, whatever you want, man.
I want to put this out for people because whether anybody wants to admit it or not, everyone's scared shitless. And most of the time we're afraid of losing what we have. And the reason I say this is because, I could have just went and looked for another job the next day, but I didn't. I wanted to pursue this. I have a dream. I have a goal. It doesn't always have to be life-shattering, life-changing. I think it should. Otherwise, what's the point of setting it? But here's the thing. Moving beyond fear isn't necessarily the same as overcoming it. And what I mean by that is this. I'm afraid of snakes. Deathly afraid of snakes. And I spend my weekends in swamps, all right? But I'm still afraid of snakes. I'm not going to handle a snake. but I don't let my fear of the snake prevent me from doing the things that I love. Anybody who's listening right now has some sort of fear or self-doubt or some sort of limitation that is preventing you from taking the action that you want to in your life. And the best thing I can say is take the action, that you can do it. And the reason I know this is because if you look back at all of your entire life, you're going to see that there is no evidence to the contrary, that you can achieve things that you want to. And I hope that anybody now, in the future, whatever, that's the message that I just want to put out there and resonate. And babe, if you're listening to this one, thanks for listening to my 7th podcast this month.
Oh man, awesome. Nick Klingensmith, y'all can find him on, I don't know if you're on Facebook, but
yep.
Okay, you can find him on everything. LinkedIn, he's under Nick Klingensmith. The rest of his stuff, just look up Stride Motivation. Just Stride Motivation. TikTok, Instagram, Twitter.
If it's a social media site, it's on there.
Yeah, there you go. Stride Motivation. Go look Nick up. He really does have some freaking awesome content. That intro video we ran for him, I think, is evidence of that. And with that, we're going to close out by saying lanerunner.com, newest rate platform out there. I'm currently using it. Actually just did a post about it. I used them to book a lane today on a load that I've been waiting to move. And coincidentally, Lane Runner's information and their rate is the rate that I posted, and that's the rate that got the load done.
Welcome to the future of trucking with Lane Runner. Up to the minute, trustworthy spot market freight rates. Experience real-time, full truckload spot market rates at your fingertips. Stay ahead with our advanced rate alert system, ensuring you never miss a market move. Gain insights with our detailed high and low paying lane reports. Make informed decisions with comprehensive market reports tailored for your business needs. Lane Runner, accurate, real-time spot market freight rates at your fingertips. Efficiency, reliability, and profitability all in one platform. Join Lane Runner today and take your logistics to the next level. Spot market, spot on.
There you have it. LaneRunner.com. If you go and check some of our, or check out our posts for them on our LinkedIn page and our Twitter page, there is actually a link that y'all can go to. It'll give y'all 25% off. And also, Shoreline Capital, Clint Weston, Nick Yunker, their team over there, family owned, family operated. Clint has 20 years in the banking industry. He pulled all that knowledge, all that experience over to the factoring side of things to give you the knowledge you need to make yourself successful and keep your capital ever flowing. Mr. Hunter, you have any closing comments?
Tomorrow, Thursday, we got a twofer for you. At 1:30 Central Time, we have Mr. Desmond Clark with Bear Down Logistics. Cannot miss that. And then at 4 p.m. Central Time, we got Mr. Joe Daney with Rand McNally. So doing it double time for you here at the lounge. But thank y'all for watching. Nick, thanks again, brother. Love it. And yeah, man, we'll see y'all tomorrow.
That's it for the Logistics Lounge. Join us tomorrow for some more crazy, unedited, live, raw, in-your-face content. As I always say, chunk the deuces. Mr. Hound, roll that beautiful bean footage.